Are you ready to be unleashed and unstoppable?
Are you ready to experience a breakthrough and step into your next level of leadership?
Living a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms, unapologetically.
This podcast is for discovering how to play big, how to be unleashed and unstoppable.
Through wiring inner success at the source as you step into your full potential as a wildly ambitious leader.
We are
Lianne Carter and
Carol Register. We are certified Master Neurocoaches and the founders of Unleashed and Unstoppable You.
We're best known for being confidence-boosting, neurohacking, productivity, and wealth experts.
And for high-achieving leaders, visionaries, and entrepreneurs.
Now let's be unleashed and unstoppable. Hey, wildly ambitious leader. Welcome back. We have got a hot topic for discussion for you guys, I know, guys, gals, girls. It's just like my automation of saying that.
For you.
And Carol found a beautiful, beautiful quote to lead us into today's topic. So Carol, take it away. What is that beautiful quote that you found for our audience today?
I love this. It says, there is no passion to be found in playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. Well, that's what we're going to dive into today. We're going to talk about you playing small and how you can start playing big and some of the things that surround playing small and some of the pain that causes us to play small, right? Alex, you and I were talking about, when we're in a victim state, when we're living by past experiences, by trauma, then we really want to oftentimes stay small because it's our comfort zone. And that was certainly the case for me. I had experienced big T trauma. There's big T and little t trauma. And for any of those, any of you out there who have experienced big T trauma, staying hidden is your comfort zone. Definitely, not feeling safe if you're out and being seen, if you're being noticed. And playing big really does require those things. It requires even more than that, knowing who you are and living at a higher level, which you're capable of. So, yeah.
And
go ahead. Yeah.
When we talk about the brain, right? Like we know that our brain is not trained to be aligned with 90% of where you're going, right? So when we're looking at, we're discussing the idea of playing small and we question, well, where does this come from? What keeps me playing small? Like how is that sort of the automatic that I go to? It's because, right, your brain is trained to be aligned with 90% of where you have been, right? It's not trained and aligned to be where you're going. And this is where we lean into, right, the power of leadership, of really powerfully using your voice, right? So you can magnetically attract what you want, confidently own your worth, and really, well, I was gonna say trust, because we did our episode last week on trust, right? Really trust in yourself. And that is Carol's saying, can feel very uncomfortable, right?
Right.
Especially when you have all of these past experiences that are, playing in the back of your mind. And I mean, the reality is it doesn't serve you, right? Like it has served you up until now, but it's not serving you for where you're going. And there's an invitation, and we are inviting you to connect with that and get intimate with that and really look at what is no longer serving you. I know that we talked about some questions that we could share with the audience today, right? Like what are you holding on to that's not serving you anymore?
Yeah.
Right? What are some of the things that you've told yourself that has you playing small, right? The judgments, the criticisms. I was thinking earlier about this too, like, wanting to be accepted, wanting to be liked, just completely normal, because that's our brains, I called the home base, the brain's home base of wanting to be safe and secure and love it, accept it, and feel worthy, right? So your brain's automatic is going to go to that.
Right. Yeah. Right? The 3 roots, you're bringing up the 3 roots we spoke about, I think in one of our first 3 episodes, I believe it was episode 2, of, when we look at our limiting beliefs, it surrounds number 1, am I loved and lovable? Number 2, am I worthy? Which includes, am I valuable? Am I enough? And number 3, am I safe? Am I certain? Am I secure?
Mm-hmm.
And the one I think that I hear most with clients is, am I enough?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think I'm enough to do this. It's too hard. It's going to take more than I'm capable of. Speaking of that quote, it's going to, and I know you and I have experienced this, Alex, Lianne, because this is our brain's way of keeping us safe, keeping us in the familiar, what is bringing up these limiting beliefs that got wired in our childhoods. And they're even saying now that our comfort zones are showing up as wired by the age of 7. So somewhere between the ages of birth and 7 years old, we've picked up that we're not enough. We've picked up that we may not be loved or lovable. We picked up that we're not safe. We're not certain, secure. And we each have differing levels of that depending on our journeys and our past. But to some degree, these limiting beliefs affect 100% of the human race as far as we're aware. And so when you know the information about the way your brain is wired and why it's doing what it's doing, so that your RAS is protected and these neural networks you have are protected, then you can start to take longer term action steps to eliminate, to neutralize and erase, to get rid of completely these limiting beliefs and to wire in your success. Replace those limits with you being able to step out and play big. Because that's really what we're talking about here, is playing big, right?
Yeah.
And when you're in a victim mode and you feel like, everything's thrown at me and I'm living a life of default and I don't have any control over it, and I just have to take everything and I have to live everybody else's plan for my life, and it's one trial after another, it's one obstacle after another, playing small sounds pretty good under those circumstances.
Well, I was gonna say, the pressure that you start to feel, right, in your brain is gonna go for that comfort. And here's a bit of a secret. Comfort doesn't necessarily mean comfortable, right? Your comfort zone doesn't necessarily mean that you are comfortable, because if you find yourself constantly wishing that you played bigger, wishing I was more confident, wishing and comparing yourself, that imposter syndrome to other people and other people's successes, you're actually still in the state of tension. So you might be feeling safe when your brain's keeping you safe because all your brain knows is what it's experienced up until now.
Yeah.
But you're feeling like something is missing.
I think that's so powerful, because I picture literally, well, first of all, slowing down to speed up is good. And I do absolutely love to take an occasional pajama day. It's really important, with my hot tea and my book. But the thing is, if you're stuck in that state where you're meant for more, it, and yet you're not doing it because of all the limiting beliefs, because of the guilt, the judgment, the shame. You're blaming others in that victim mode, which doesn't serve us, right? And you're not even really fully aware of it because it's going on in your subconscious. The thoughts arise from here to there, but that makes a lot of sense that, you may not be enjoying that rest time as you should, because you find yourself, playing small, holding back, standing in the past. really standing in the past and celebrating the past, and I mean celebrating not in the great word of the great version of that word, right? I mean, just really clinging to the past rather than being able to do the work that it takes to believe in yourself, to trust yourself, like we spoke about in the last episode, and to invest in yourself and to know that you are fully capable of not only playing big, but healing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Healing. I think
And
that's huge.
then what we see with our clients that are playing small, of course, by the time they're done working with us, they're playing massive, right?
Yeah,
Is
that's right.
this cognitive dissonance of the experience of like they know they want more, but they have the thoughts and the beliefs that are holding them back. And that's
Yeah.
the power of the work that Carol and I do, right? About being able to neutralize and erase what is not serving you.
Yeah.
So I kind of alluded to the questions before, but I want to look back. I want to loop back and really invite you to really ask yourself, what are some of the things you've told yourself that has you playing small? To get
Yeah.
connected and intimate with like, what are those thoughts? What are those beliefs? And
Yeah.
then what are you still holding on to that doesn't serve you anymore? Right?
Right.
Some of the guilt, some of the shame,
Yeah.
some of the blame, some of the things that we've mentioned here today.
Yeah.
And are you choosing to trust yourself and believe that you are meant for more?
Yeah.
One big thing that we teach our clients is you get to believe it
Yeah.
in order to receive it. Right?
Yeah.
So, and what that's going to look like is leaning into trusting that the thing that you want is really just on the other side of the action that you get to take. But you get to take that action. You get to learn the lesson that you get to learn along the way. I mean, I think this is what, when we talk about fear that holds people back, that has them playing small, is the fear,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
yet fear is just part of, right? It's false evidence appearing real. That's why the work that Carol and I do is helping your brain with evidence to help show your brain that this is false, right? That this is not truth. Your brain's telling you it's truth, but it's not really the truth. And we walk you through a process to do that.
Yeah.
And to be able to get through that, right? Like amazing things happen on the other side of that fear, right? And fear only lasts a very few seconds. It's just
Yeah.
being able to take that action, right? Take the action, take the jump, take the leap to be able to do that. And it's funny, actually, as I'm saying this, I remember the first time I went ziplining. It was terrified. And I was like, if I do not jump now, I am not going to do this.
I so feel you. I
And
love ziplining, but
and
yeah.
and I remember like it, and that this is it. Like, right. I just
Yeah.
jumped. I just did it. Cause I knew I could feel in my body, just like the anxiety. And I'm like, I am literally, because my brain was having its temper tantrum, like
Yeah.
terrified. And
This is not safe.
I was about to like get to shutdown mode and I could feel it. And I was like, all right, I'm going now. Jumped. And that's it. It lasts seconds. And all of a sudden you're like, what? Oh my goodness, look at the view. And oh, I mean, it's nuts, right? But it's
Yeah.
just that split second. And it's leaning into that. And it's, we say often, right? It's about getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that's what
Yeah.
we're saying. Your brain is wired to keep you in the safe and familiar, in this comfort zone, but that
Right.
comfort zone might not actually feel comfortable because you're constantly in this push and pull
Tension.
of
Yeah.
what you are meant for, what you want, the life that you want, and yet here you are. And so
Yeah.
I mean, I was with a client yesterday and there was so much self beat up. There was
Yeah.
so much self beat up, and there was so much. I mean, you could feel the pain,
Yeah.
right? That my client is experiencing because
Yeah.
of again, things that happened when they were a child.
Yeah. I
And
had a
now it's
young lady tell me today that, a part of her inability to move forward with her finances, because I've been talking about healing your money stories, is that she was told, you can't have money, you'll jinx it. So she's walking around with this idea that it's not possible for her because she'll mess everything up. She'll be bad luck. She'll jinx it.
Yeah.
And so, leaning in and having that awareness of what is circulating in your subconscious is so important, so that we know what we're dealing with, because your brain's already operating by it, even when you're unaware. And that's the important thing. And, if you'll go back and listen to some of our past episodes, we give an analogy about that. Like if you're going to brush your teeth or you're going to tie your shoes, the way we have things automated in our brain. And so sometimes I hear a fear of people going, I don't want to lean in to these things that I'm thinking. That's a fear that came up for somebody I was working with the other day. And the truth of it is, you're already operating by it. So by calling it out, by uncovering it, by digging up the dirt is where you get to the gold, right? The gold's just past the digging. And when you have an awareness and a recognition of what is causing you to play small, what is causing you to hold back, it isn't sitting in that. It isn't dwelling on that. We don't want to keep that pattern going. We just want to have an awareness so that we can move you through the actual rewiring process where it can be eliminated permanently, at least as far as we know. It can be eliminated, right?
Yeah.
Neutralized and erased. And those are the things that are really important to know.
So because we take a stand for you to stop playing small, we have an amazing event that we'd love to invite you to. So I'm hosting a 5-day event so that you can really lean into being the irresistible bold leader that you truly are. So you can stop playing small. You can powerfully use your voice, right? Confidently own your worth, as we said earlier today, and be unapologetically you, right? Really play big, be bold, be that irresistible leader that we know that's inside of you, and be unleashed, right? We are all about being unleashed and unstoppable. And some of the traits and the things that we're sharing on this event is powerful to help you embody that what it entails playing big, right? That bold, irresistible leadership that's in you, that's ready to be unleashed. And so we've got the link in the show notes for you to register and sign up for that. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great 5-day event with, there's just so much goodness coming out of that. And just experts from all over. I'm
so excited about it. I am really excited to hear all of the amazing experts that you are interviewing, Alex, Lianne, to discuss this bold leadership. Not only to discuss, but to actually give us the information that will be so important and valuable for us to move forward in our leadership.
And it's really great to see some of the common themes, right, with each different speaker and some of the things that they've shared along their journey and their ahas and their takeaways. And there's a lot of sharing of like what it took, right? From them playing small to playing big. And so it's so great to be able to bring that to our audience to really stand for you as a leader, because we know that you have a gift. We know that you are meant for more. And we know the role that our brain likes to play to keep us safe, to keep us where we are. And that's a big stance that Carol and I take about really understanding how your brain can work for you and how it currently might be not working for you at this moment. So we'll see you at that event. Thank you for listening to another episode. Hit subscribe, share this with anybody in your life that you feel is playing small and you know that they are meant for more. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you so much.
Ciao for now.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast with your hosts, Alex Carter and Carol Register.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review, and subscribe.
That's all for this episode, Wildly Ambitious Leaders. See you next week.